Good morning. It is day 6 at USA Swimming Olympic Trials, and this is Deck Pass Live presented by AT&T. Today, the amazing Katie Ledecky swims the 800 free prelims and the 100 free final tonight. There's a whole lot more going on, so let's get to it. Good morning. It is day 6 here at Olympic Trials. I'm Caitlin Sandino, and we are here with race expert Carolyn Joyce. Carolyn,
I like
thanks
that
for being
title.
here. Yeah, you are my race expert. Speaking of races, last night, a lot of really exciting races. What were your impressions of last night?
Last night, so we had day 5 of Olympic trials, and this meet is 8 days. So as much as it's a spectacle for the spectators, for the athletes, I think it's so challenging to keep your head in the game for that many days consistently, day in and day out. But we saw a lot of great performances, people staying focused, some records that we'll talk about later, and some big races, some head-to-head ones tonight.
All right, well, let's take a look at all that action. So we started with the men's 200 breast final. That just got the meet started off on an amazing note, like you talked about. A record was set.
Yes, men's 200 breaststroke final. We had Kevin Cordes take it out very strong, like he's been doing between prelims, semis, and now finals. We thought we might see a world record out of him, but out of nowhere, last 15 meters, Josh Pernot comes in, big turnover for the win, and our first American record of this meet. A treat for the audience.
All right, the women's 100-meter freestyle.
Yes, women's 100 free, we have Abby Weitzel. Abby Weitzel out like a rocket. I think we're going to see some really great things tonight out of her, and also for her 50 freestyle later this meet. Amanda Weir, 30 years old, closing in for third place.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Men's 200-meter backstroke.
The men's 200 backstroke, also a really good race. I love seeing these two cowboys go head-to-head. It's something that you know they do in practice day in and day out. And we have Tyler Clary in the mix in third place heading into finals. I talked to his parents last night. You know, it's going to be his third final swim of the meet, hasn't qualified yet.
All right, women's 200-meter butterfly, one of my favorite races, one of the most grueling ones out there.
Absolutely. Something I've actually never done is a 200 fly. So Camille Adams swam her own race just like the veteran that she is, took it out calm, cool, and collected, brought it home with that closing speed that she's known for. 100% reminiscent of that swim 4 years ago, doubling up as the champion yet again and punching her ticket.
All right, the men's 100-meter freestyle, this was one of my favorite races that we got to watch last night.
This was a great race.
I was going to say bananas.
Yes, it really was. We had Nathan Adrian, our heavy favorite, take the win. And we had some great speed shown from Anthony Irvin.
Definitely.
He really went for it. The oldest swimmer in this meet at 35 years old now punches his ticket for his third Olympic Games.
I loved all the emotion that we saw from these guys last night. It was truly just so energetic, passionate. It was a really fun race to watch, but it was really fun to see their reaction after the race, how legitimately pumped up they are.
Yeah, Caleb Dressel right there. You can tell he's getting emotional. His
Anthony
first
Irvin
Olympic
makes
team.
His third Olympic team.
Yeah.
And they said his first one was 16 years ago. That was a long time.
Yeah, so that'll be a really good relay, very strong relay.
All right, men's 200 IM. It was just the semifinals, but it was still just as exciting.
Men's 200 IM, watch both of these guys as they bring it home. I think they put together good races, but each of them shut it down, I would say, in the last 15 meters. Michael, maybe a little bit more so, you see that? Maybe a little bit more so than Ryan. And Michael even talks about how he knows they're both going to really push it tomorrow night. Here we have Ryan. The groin injury that he suffered from earlier this meet, obviously not affecting him. There he is swimming his breaststroke leg. And, you know, that they're going to put on a show.
Yeah,
They've been doing
I was really
it for years.
impressed with that race. Everybody's been talking about this injury. How's his breaststroke leg going to be? I thought he looked great. We catch up a little bit later in the show with him and David Marsh, and they kind of talk about this injury that he's trying to nurse, and he needs to follow the doctor's orders. So tonight, obviously going to be a very exciting race. The first time that we're going to see the Phelps versus Lochte. Obviously, a lot of fans are getting excited for that race. But before we get to that, I just want to kind of touch on what we said about Anthony Irvin, Camille Adams, seeing so much emotion last night. So I had the honor of getting to interview the Olympians after they qualify. Camille Adams, her response was so heartfelt, and when she looked into the camera and says, "I'm Camille Adams, I'm a 2016 Rio Olympian," she literally got choked up, like just tears, and the whole audience is like, oh, like everybody wanted to start crying. And then you get Anthony Irvin. So Tony gets on the mic, and it's a character, right? I said, so Tony, third Olympics, first one was 16 years ago. You know, where do you keep finding the speed? He just takes the mic out of my hand. He's like, well, it all started 8 years ago. And he just gets into this passionate story and about inspiring the next generation. And if I can't do it, who will? And the crowd just goes crazy. So last night, it was just so priceless to see all these raw emotions on the pool deck. So, obviously, raw emotions. Let's get back to the men's 200 IM with Lochte versus Phelps. Here's what they have to say about the race.
I've been racing against him in this event since like 2003, so he's a tough competitor, and I just love racing against him because it's a challenge.
During the big meets, we have great races, and we're right there with each other tomorrow. The middle of the pool, probably a couple tenths apart, and it's going to be good. We're going to be out and probably step on the gas a little bit more than we have in the past. And
I think it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. Me and him, just from what we've both done in the sport of swimming. So
even if he is hurt, he's not only going to let anything be an excuse. Him and I together, we've had a pretty decent rivalry back and forth, and we've been able to really push each other. So I would expect that tomorrow.
All right, Carolyn.
I like that.
Who's your money on, Phelps or Lochte?
Phelps or Lochte? I'm going to have to go with Phelps. I think he's been looking sharp at this meet, even though Lochte is our world record holder. I think Phelps is going to put out a really special race. I like how Ryan said it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports.
Definitely
and
is.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
And it's the last year we'll see it, too.
It is.
Like, this
the
is
fans are going to be
now.
on their
It's
feet.
coming to the end.
Yeah, the fans are going to be on their feet tonight. It's going to be a packed house, and I think everyone's going to be really excited about that race.
All right, so that's tonight's excitement. Let's talk about this morning. So this morning we have 4 prelims on the schedule. Ledecky in the 800 freestyle, obviously going to be spectacular.
Yeah, Ledecky is going to be in the 800 freestyle this morning. We have Leah Smith. We have Sierra Runge, who's also punched her ticket. So it'll be a good race to see how this one unfolds. We have prelims this morning, and the way the 800 for women and the mile for men are swum, it's prelims in the morning and then finals the next day. So they don't swim semifinals. They get a little bit more rest to recover from that long race.
Yes.
So it'll be a good final tomorrow night.
And we have that 100 butterfly. Phelps and Lochte swimming this, or who do we have in the 100 fly?
100 fly, we're going to see Phelps out there. We're going to see Tom Shields. Tom Shields, who finished second in the 200 butterfly.
Right.
And Tom actually made a great surge at the end of his race.
Definitely.
So he's actually beat Michael head-to-head at some point within the last couple years. He is not afraid of the king.
Good.
So it'll be good to see that one unfold.
All right, women's 200 backstroke.
Women's 200 backstroke, we're going to see Missy Franklin. So if Missy qualifies for this 200 backstroke tomorrow night, that'll be her 3rd event at the Olympics. So a much lighter schedule for her this time around.
Right.
Somebody else that we're going to look at in this 200 backstroke is going to be Elizabeth Beisel.
Okay.
She has swum this race at the last 2 Olympic Games. This really is her best event. But an interesting thing about Beisel, she did break her finger.
Right.
In warm-up, she hit hands with another swimmer, bent her pinky backwards.
Right.
She has a hairline fracture.
Wow.
She's been resting it for the last couple days, but we'll see how this race goes for her this morning.
Definitely.
She's tough. If there's
Yeah,
one
I
thing
know,
about
if there's one
Beisel,
thing.
she's tough stuff.
All right, and then one of our favorite races to watch, the men in the splash and dash 50 freestyle. What are you thinking?
The men in the 50 freestyle, you can see they're warming up behind us right now. We start the 50 freestyle from the far end, and we're going to have Nathan Adrian, our heavy favorite,
Sure.
Caleb Dressel, the American record holder, NCAA champion from this past year, but Anthony Irvin,
Let's get back to
our
Anthony.
old guy, 35 years old, Anthony Irvin, and all of the 100 freestyles that he swam from prelims to semifinals to finals showed incredible early speed.
Right.
So that's going to be, you know how that race goes though.
Yeah.
It's blink and it's over.
Right.
And one thing goes wrong, it
Done.
can kind of affect your whole race. So I think it's between those two, between Dressel and Irvin, it's going to be who puts together the most perfect race.
I ran into one of the trainers for Anthony, and they were saying that they've been really trying to work on his start, because that's something that Anthony has definitely suffered from in the past, is a little bit of a weaker start.
Yeah.
So let's keep our eyes and see if his start has improved. since-
Yeah, if you remember finals of the Olympics 4 years ago, Anthony had the slowest start of the entire field. I think he finished around 6th place. An argument could have been made that he would have been a
Start.
medal contender had his start improved. And he's been around the block, he's done it all.
Yeah.
I definitely don't count him out in this 50.
All right, well, day 6, a lot to look forward to. Carolyn, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, let's move things a little to the lighter side. When you're coming up through age group swimming, there's a lot of free time at meets. So how you pass the time is important. Let's see what some of our national team members have to say.
I grew up before iPods and iPhones and iPads, so we used to play like actual physical games with cards.
We played Uno a lot of the time.
We played a lot of speed.
Goldfish or something with not a lot of things you had to remember.
We played a lot of rummy.
Played 13, that card game, and Hearts.
Those card games are just as intense as it is in the pool.
Playing Nintendo DS, playing iPhone games.
We'd be doing frisbee tosses, tag and hide and seek, and we probably should have been resting.
We played this game called Egyptian Rat Screw. It's basically a card game kind of like Slapjack.
So that was a favorite of a lot of the Texas teams.
It's kind of like a reaction game. And I'm still a reigning champion of Egyptian Rat Screw. I haven't lost since I was like 12.
I heard Katie telling you earlier that she's a reigning champ. I haven't been beaten either. I guess we'll have to set up like a little duel between us.
I'll challenge anybody.
Oh, she doesn't seem competitive at all. No, not at all. All right, today excited to welcome our guest, 2012 Olympian Davis Tarwater. Davis, welcome to Deck Pass Live.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, we got to get straight into this. Being a very proud Michigan man, how excited and pumped up are you for Connor Yeager?
Well, first, I'm just really excited about the man that Connor Yeager has become, the way that he handles himself, the way that he takes care of business. And, aside from the allegiance that I have to the University of Michigan, the allegiance that he has to the University of Michigan, I think that he is a great candidate to be the captain of this team. I think he's that kind of leader. Now, whether he will be or not, I don't know, but I would look to a guy like that to take a very large leadership role on this team over the next month. And, with a lot of new guys, he's the perfect guy to kind of mentor and bring people along. And I'm just really happy for him because he's meant a lot to the University of Michigan, but he's meant a lot to American distance swimming. And Michigan, the Michigan legacy is very much built on the distance legacy, and I think that he's been an incredible continuation of that.
Definitely. So speaking of distance, so Davis, you specialize in the 200 butterfly, dabbled in the 100 butterfly. Today we're going to see some of that 100 butterfly speed, but also last night we saw the 200 butterfly. What are the difference between the 100 and the 200 fly? It's kind of a lot, right?
Yeah, it is kind of a lot, and you definitely have some guys that can step into both races pretty effectively. I mean, I look at a guy like Tom Shields.
Right.
Tom Shields has the ability to swim both races extremely well at an extremely high level, and I think he's going to have a great swim tonight. You saw that front end speed in the 200 fly. I think the biggest difference is being able to manage, especially for a 200 flyer, which I was more of a 200 flyer, is being able to step down and manage the stroke race, the tempo, and really be able to maintain length and power throughout the course of the race.
Sure.
And Michael has done an incredible job of being able to establish, that front end length, but also that power, and also, use his walls effectively. I think we're going to see an interesting race from Ryan Lochte today in the 100 fly, and both of those guys, aside from the showdown that's going to happen later in the 200 IM, both of those guys have to swim the 100 fly.
Right.
So that'll be kind of an interesting bit of the story as well.
All right, so you bring it up, the 2 IM, the showdown. Who's your money on?
I think I am so excited. This is such a classic, this is such a classic matchup. And what I like about it is I think both of these guys have had their own sort of, I wouldn't say blips of confidence, right? But like Ryan had, he's had to work through some things this week.
Of course.
Right? And I think Michael has shown a lot of confidence, but we haven't seen much of him other than the 200 fly.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But I think that neither of these guys are scared of each other.
Nope.
Neither of these guys are scared of this race.
Right.
They are both in incredible shape and ready to go.
You have to say something. Say it.
I'm going. Let's see. There's one guy's the world record holder.
Seriously?
One. I don't know.
Davis, you're killing
I like both of these guys. I like both of these guys. Come on. Okay.
5, 4,
I'll
3,
say Lochte.
2. Oh.
I'll say Lochte in a close
Ooh,
race.
Ooh,
I'll say Lochte.
You heard it
and listen,
first.
listen. If Michael's watching, which I know you're not.
I'm offended.
Well, he said he's warming up. Why he's not watching the show?
Keep it together, Tarwater.
Yeah, if I think Lochte just maybe I'm feeling it.
Okay.
And I'm better,
you don't have to justify yourself. You're good.
I like Phelps.
Okay, we're done. Next question. Stop it.
Hey,
Go quiet.
Hey.
All right. So let's get serious. You swim in 4 Olympic trials, correct? or five, four? Four Olympic trials. That's a lot of Olympic trials. And I don't want to bring it up, but I know you have some not so awesome trials. But then you have when, yes, that happened. Talk us through, you know, the highs and the lows of this event, this meet, how you overcome those obstacles, because there are going to be people that are leaving with third places or leaving with fourth places. You know, we saw Caitlin Leverance that got third by 5/100ths of a second. I mean, talk us through that emotional obstacle to overcome, and then how it makes it so much more bittersweet when you do qualify for the team.
Yeah, and specifically with Kayla Leverance, that was tough to watch.
It was. You saw the emotion immediately.
She is such a great human being and is such a great person, and my heart goes out to her, and I'm just so happy that she has had an Olympic experience.
Exactly.
You know, for me, the hardest part about this meet is the finality of it. You know, I mean, in other sports, you come back, you have the opportunity to do it again next year.
Sure.
You know, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl, we're going to do it again next year. You know, Steph Curry's going to come back and he's going to try to win next year.
Right.
There's a finality about this meet. You know, the every 4 years part of it, you know, you put so much of your heart and soul into it, and then you step in, and there's just that added pressure. I mean, the Olympics was so much easier. I mean, I'm sure you probably feel the same way. The trials is the hard, you know, the Olympics are so much easier. So, you know, my story luckily had a happy ending.
Definitely.
And it didn't happen the way that I thought it was going to happen.
Right.
But I'm really just honored to have represented my country at an Olympics, and I'm just so impressed with the job that Omaha does, and coming back and stepping into this environment.
Right.
You know, I thought for a minute, you know, maybe I wouldn't like it. You know, maybe there'd be some like bad moments. You know,
Right.
I'd have bad memories. And you know what? This is such a great place. This is such a special meet, and they do such a great job. I've loved being here, and so I'm just so excited to see how this meet unfolds and see you know, some of the veterans continue to work through and get on this team, and love seeing the new faces as well.
All right, before we go, like we said, proud Michigan man. You can't think Michigan without thinking John Urbanchek. Somebody that we are so fond of, so many special moments that we've shared with him, but you have one of the best Urbanchek impressions. Can you take us out on one of your Urbies?
Okay. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to my very special buddy Davis Tarwater's show in the morning of Omaha Day 6 Olympic Trials.
Thank you, Davis. All right, Caitlin, pull it together. For you future swimmers out there, one of the most interesting segments of our show has been Take Your Mark, our technical look at swimming. In today's installment, we focus on the freestyle kick. Here's Russell Mark.
Take your mark.
Just like the recovery, the best freestyle kick can be easily misconstrued. Demonstrated here well by Maxime Rooney, last year's national champion in the 200 free and expected to be very competitive in the 100 and 200 free at this Olympic trials. A great kick starts with the knees bending forward. Great kickers like Maxime throw water downward off the toes and allow the leg to fully extend at a downward angle. Not so good kickers, on the other hand, the feet stay higher and instead slide across the water to different degrees. All of our Olympians are among the best kickers in the country too, and this is the technique they all exhibit.
Always a blast to hear from you. All right, let's head over to Twitter and see what our friends with hashtag DeckPassLive have to say. So we have Jeff Lewis, who has been watching all week from New York and wants to give a shout out to all the great swimmers. Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you tuning in. Anna Saunders says hi from Kentucky and good luck to everybody. Jill Ango from Lake Forest, California says she loves starting her morning with Deck Pass Live. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us, Jill. And Chris V from Colorado says, can you say hi to my son, Braxton? Hey, Braxton. All right, guys, thanks for tweeting us. Keep those tweets coming. We love hearing from you. All right, I think you're really going to like this next piece. We caught up with Dave Marsh from Swim Mac in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he is the women's Olympic head coach and also the coach of Ryan Lochte. We had the chance to listen in on Coach Marsh yesterday during Ryan's workout.
Hey, Ryan. I saw you doing breaststroke there. How'd it feel?
I didn't open my leg.
You're dolphin kicking? Okay.
I'm going like...
Good. Tempo 1.5. Tempo 1.5, whatever that means. You went a big kick out. You went about 16 meters. I did? Yeah. Probably good you're not in 200 back today because you probably kick out too far. All right, hey, don't think here, just be athletic and react to what comes, okay? Is that all right, you think? So just keeping them a lot closer together. Keeping them a lot closer together, his feet. It hurts when he goes all the way out. That looks really good. I wish it was finals already. Maybe you could just fast forward to the finals. So listen, when you get over there, let's make sure you get it loosened up again and then keep moving it until the race, okay? Follow doctor's orders implicitly, okay?
All right, we're all wishing Ryan a speedy recovery. All week long, we invite you to join the conversation by tweeting with us at #DeckPassLive. Share your questions. Who are you cheering on and where are you watching us from? And we can share that live on our shows. For all the latest video, news, and photos, visit us at usaswimming.org. Thanks for watching Deck Pass Live, presented by AT&T. We leave you with some post-race thoughts from last night's winners.
Obviously, after the last, 24 or 48 hours, I'm just really happy to punch my ticket to go to Rio.
I think we faster than we were certainly 4 years ago, so that feels good. But the world is also faster, so there's that to keep in mind. But just to be able to pop a 47 right now, knowing that we can hopefully be a little bit faster in about a month is good.
I think it all started with not making it back in the 400 IM. I was third 4 years ago in that, so that was a little bit of a crush for me, but I was really excited with how my 100 fly went before that. So once I got off that roller coaster, then I swam 100 fly that night and won another best time in that, so was pretty stoked. And then led into the prelims and hadn't raced for 2 days, and then obviously with the DQ in the morning was not what I wanted to see, but luckily, like I said earlier this week, I have a great support staff behind me that knew exactly what needed to be done and went back and watched the video review, and there was no question about it. So I'm glad he made the call. I mean, he was doing his job.
Yeah, we've gotten real deep pretty fast in that event. I mean, to have 3 guys, 2:08.1 or better, I mean, you could have asked people in 2013 if they thought that was going to happen, and I don't think anyone would have said yes. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see the progression. I guess we're becoming more like England, where we're really good at breaststroke and pretty bad at soccer.
Going?
So can I move the donut?
I want the donut. Donut stays.
Just, it would be funny
Just with
if
one
she goes,
bite.
"Wait, hold on,